What's up, folks, and welcome to this week's episode of the Pilot Review Show. I am Captain Blade J52, and I am joined by several of my merry cohorts. We have our resident Neela with us this evening.
Alonzi!
And we also have our favorite teacher of the Kirby variety.
Yes. Yep, I am here, but I have news about Artie, our favorite hologram. His mobile emitter lost power, and his program, they're having trouble pulling it up from the main computer, so he will not be with us tonight.
Yes, so no Artie this evening, sadly, which means no RP corner, but hopefully we should be back to full strength next week and everything. So we'll give him a maintenance day this time around, I guess. But definitely some interesting stuff to get through for you guys this week. So I suppose we should go ahead and get started. So, the first thing we have is actually the Breach queue returning to the game. I'm sure some of you have probably already gotten out there and taken a stab at the new queue and everything. Now, the queue itself has been redone a good bit. Some of the old portions of the mission were removed. Specifically, the first hangar battle that you had to do where you closed the doors and then where you fought the giant dreadnought. So now it's just the trench run, the sub-power core, the main power core, and then you get the heck out of Dodge. So it has been shortened a good bit. I would say now 5 to 10 minutes at most for the mission. So not too terribly bad.
Yeah, 15 at the most. That's what I've been seeing.
Yeah. It's very nice if you have a lot of alts to run through it. I was a bit confused the first time I ran it with the exit, because last year it was a go down and out, and it was a straight shot out, very short escape run. And now the escape run is go out the way you came.
Yep.
And it's quite longer, but you can easily, the lighting in the room, you can easily lose your door if you're not observant and can be flying around trying to figure out, where do I go? Which happened to me the first few times I played.
Yeah, the one trick to know what door it is, it's the door underneath the orange door.
It's the one you flew in from. That's,
No?
That's my hand. You can get out that way. It's a lot easier to get out that way.
Well, nah, I just go underneath the one that's underneath the orange door, because normally I'm on that side anyway, because normally I get tractor beamed.
Okay.
Makes sense. Yes, and the big thing that we should mention as well, for the reward, you'll get the Voth weapon. It is... where's the exact name of this thing? It is the...
Voth? Oh wait,
what the heck is that thing?
Fuck.
I'm brain farting.
Yeah.
Oh no, the Tribbles got in again.
Yeah, they got it. They definitely got in again. That's for sure.
When aren't they in?
Yeah, fair point.
The weapon is the Voth. Where is it?
Oh my god.
Now see, now you can make me pull it up.
Yeah, this is...
Just do it the easy way. Open the actual reputation. And there we go. It is the Voth Friedon Fangs, and I'm probably butchering that. So that gives you, it's a ground device, and it gives you quickening strike with it is definitely a melee attack. They look quite fierce from the pictures I've seen. So you have a melee strike. It does add momentum that stacks up to, I believe, 5 stacks. Not sure there. And then which gives a power recharge. Ooh, nice. And adds to your run speed and your dodge. for a bit, and that's what I'm seeing here.
So, yep, bit of a brain fart
Yep.
on my end. I don't know why I didn't just go into the game. But, anyway, my brain lapse aside and everything, you can see in the picture there what the weapons actually look like. If you've ever been to the Dyson ground battle zone and you've had a Spec Ops officer try to close into melee range, those little claws that he's using are what you're picking up for the weapon. And now I just found it in the blog. Go figure. But anyway,
You don't need it anymore.
it's usually the way it happens.
Another thing to mention is PC. We have it until the start on the 2nd, and it goes until the 23rd of March. Console, we will be getting this on the 16th of March, going to April 7th. And for console, the rewards and all that will be in another blog at a later date.
Yes, so we will update that for our console players out there whenever we hear some more on this for you guys. But that's the big thing that we did want to mention. Now, one other huge thing for this is once the event is over, the queue itself will still remain. So now we actually have the breach queue back again full time. Once the event clears out, it will stick around.
Woohoo!
So,
And has that been verified? Because I know there's the line in the blog that says that the normal version will remain, but has that been verified?
After the run of this breach event, the regular breach queue will return with its normal rewards.
Okay.
so yeah.
Yay!
Alonzi!
So that is one thing we did want to mention for you guys, but moving along to our next big thing. Now, we actually have the PC requirements that came about this week and everything. This is actually in the form of a forum announcement from Ambassador Kale and everything. Now, they announced in December, as it says here, that they would no longer be supporting Windows XP, Direct 3D, or video cards with a Direct 3D hardware with less than a 10.0. So, basically, in this instance, you're not going to be able to run it at anything less than a Direct 3D 10. So that is one big thing to keep in mind. Now, they have been kind of paying attention to the feedback and everything to hopefully get any potential issues worked out ahead of time for people, so the impact is minimal. Now, I know this has...
Now-
Oh, go ahead, Kirby.
I was going to say, when they announced it in December, one of the things they said is that your system on your launcher would advise you or let you know that, hey, you're not going to meet these requirements. You need to do something here. So, you've had, as we say, you've had fair warning.
But yeah.
Okay.
Now, one thing I would say, I know a lot of people have been concerned about it and everything from a technical standpoint, wondering, well, am I going to have to upgrade my whole computer? I'm going to have to do this and that. If you're not meeting the minimum requirements, there is probably going to be some type of upgrading involved. And even with just a basic Vista system at this point, and even a video card from about 5 years ago, you should be perfectly fine. Now, I know that sucks when you have to upgrade, when they drop support for certain things with games, but that's going to come with the territory of technology. As technology advances, the older stuff is going to get phased out, the new stuff will be brought in. Like I say, it's not fun having to upgrade. I just did it myself this year, and like I said, it's just something we've got to do. But that's the big thing with this, is the new requirements that have come into play and everything. So I would say, just if you have to upgrade and everything, try to find a cheap card. Everything doesn't have to be current gen, just some kind of something. But anyway, with that in mind, we'll move ahead to our next big thing. For our console players out there, we have week 3 of the Temporal Agent rewards. This is completing the R&D assignments to get a server-wide R&D experience bonus. Now, a lot of people, myself included, I will admit to some extent, once we got our temporal agents up to level 10, we kind of quit playing them and everything until the rest of the rewards come in. So, one thing I would say is try to maybe pick this up, get some of the bonuses for the server and everything, because this will actually help you guys out a good bit. But, Jira actually on the console a lot more than I am. Neela, what's some of the general, I guess, consensus, attitudes, stuff that you're seeing with all this at the moment?
Like, people are doing it, but, like, for last week, the Dolphin, people got up to where they were able to do it by doing other stuff and not the missions, so they didn't have to run through the missions until the actual reward showed up.
Can understand that. But yeah. As far as the temporal agent rewards go, like I say, guys, definitely get out there, make that temporal agent tune. That is some huge, huge rewards that you're going to get just for actually completing certain things, especially the reputations being the biggest thing. And as far as the reputations go, I mean, I could show you guys an example. If I go to any of these reputations and I try to requisition a piece of equipment, instead of it starting out at a Mark 12 very rare, it will now start out at a Mark 13 ultra rare. So it is on this, and this is an entire account-wide buff for any characters you have now, any characters you make in the future once you unlock it. So on all of my tunes, if I go to requisition something from Reputation, it is literally impossible for me to get something below an ultra rare at this point. Now, this is the main stuff. It doesn't count the store items, sadly, but it does count the main stuff, which is important. So, I know I'm pushing that kind of hard, guys, but that is a huge deal. Because now, if you wanted to, just take it to 14. You don't have to worry about going for Epic until much later down the road.
Exactly. It'll be a little bit less deal in the long run.
Exactly. But, anyways, that's our temporal agent rewards that we did want to kind of touch base on again for you guys. But moving to our next big thing, we have an XP weekend for the PC players. This actually started on Thursday the 2nd. This will be running until Monday the 6th. While this is going on, you'll earn 2 times the amount of experience points for anything that awards skill points and expertise. So this is a very big deal. If you're out there, maybe you've got a character you want to level, everything, maybe you've just not been able to get that Romulan up high enough to where you want, maybe you just got that one fed character that's like right on the tip edge of hitting 60, or maybe you've just got that one ship that you just absolutely hate and you want to get through. Now is the time to get out there and get that XP, get some of that stuff done, and overall just, I guess, have a lot stronger tunes. But, so just kind of curious.
Get extra.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, get extra spec points.
Exactly. But, actually comes to my question as far as, from our panel today, what kind of stuff have y'all been doing with this XP weekend?
Spec points on Neela.
Yep. Spec points. As much as you can get while running the breach.
Seems to be the general consensus, I guess.
Yeah, basically for me, I was doing it with the Fed Admiralty.
Okay. Seems pretty cool.
Yep.
It's basically a full set of all nothing but experience. Admiralty will get me a level without doing anything else.
Yeah.
I'll admit to cheesing
That's even without the double XP.
I'll admit to cheesing the temporal assignment doffs and that kind of things, which has got a few of my tunes up pretty high. So I mean, I'll admit to cheesing that. But anyways, get out there.
Yeah,
definitely.
those,
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say those temporal and Mirror Universe and the new ones.
23rd
I
century.
believe from this current lockbox, yeah. 23rd century duty officer missions are excellent right now during this double XP weekend. Do a few of those and you can get a spec point very, very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely get out there, guys. Farm your tail feathers off, get those spec points, get those tunes leveled up, and have some fun while doing it. But moving to the next big thing we have, this is for our console players. We have an upgrade weekend for you guys. This started on Thursday and will be running until this Monday. While this is going on, any tech upgrades you use will apply double the tech points, and it will also reduce the amount of dilithium that must be spent on each threshold, thus allowing you to get in more chances at mark and rarity boost. So very good thing for you guys. But we should also mention, because I know this is probably going to be a question that people have, any of the upgrades that you got from the Omega techs, those do work and do benefit from upgrade weekends. Pretty much all tech upgrades in the game do, barring the exception of the keyring bundle, because it just takes it straight there. But just kind of curious, Neela, what's some of the stuff you've been doing for the upgrade weekend? Upgraded anything on console yet?
I've actually upgraded some of my phasers. I'll get the nice Kelvin phasers up to at least ultra rare.
Okay.
Because they look so cool. Oh, you're using turrets? No.
Leave it to Neela to be our space Barbie, but that's kind of what I expected. But
Space Barbie all the way.
yeah, not gonna lie, Space Barbie in a Barbie world. But
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
and there it is. But we will have this in the notes for you guys, so you can check this out and everything. Definitely take advantage of that upgrade weekend, because it is a godsend if you're trying to upgrade a lot of stuff at once. It really is. But next we have our patch notes for the PC. Not really a lot here, in all honesty. Basically just the announcement for the discontinuation of XP, Direct 3D 9 support, and we have 23rd century officers or buffs now have stance animation in the character select screen. Absolutely. That annoyed me too, even. Then the weekly reward has been removed from Of Signs Importance, so now it is a standard episode and no longer the featured episode. So that's some of the general stuff.
Yep.
The other thing is the Sompek Lightning module. But any thoughts on this stuff, guys? Not really a lot here, but anything?
Yeah, the actual weekly reward from Of Signs and Portents was a short-lived bug. It was not supposed to be rewarding last week. So, congrats to those who thought that and went and got the extra skill point from running it. They won't take it away, but yeah, that was not supposed to be there. As far as the Sompek, it actually increased the base damage and the DOT damage, so the Sompek Lightning module will actually do more than it has been. And of course, we'll give some extra shield bypass. So, nice.
Yeah, for me, the 23rd century bridge officer.
Okay.
Because that just annoyed me.
But, anyways, guys, like I say, not a lot to this week's patch notes and everything for the PC. I mean, we will have this up in the notes for you guys, so you can check it out later if you want to. In the announcement itself is also a link to the discussion on the forums, so you can check that out, give some feedback there as well, and everything. But moving along to our next big thing, the Phoenix Prize Pack has returned from this past Thursday the 2nd until this Monday on the 6th. The Phoenix Prize Pack will be available in-game again. So if you're looking for something that you didn't get before, maybe you weren't able to get that Krenum Science vessel you were after, maybe you missed out on absolutely the Kabali, maybe you weren't here when it was originally given. Whatever the reason, now's your chance to get access to some of these old retired items that have been out of the game for quite a while now, such as one of the big ones is the Voth Bulwark, everything that a lot of people wanted.
Capacitor.
Red Matter. You've got some of the various Tribbles as well, and also a chance at the Phoenix Tech upgrades that a lot of people like to use. So a lot of good stuff that you can get. You can get them in 2 denominations. You can get a singular box for 4,500 dilithium, or you can get a 10-pack for 40,000 dilithium. Now, you can also get 1 box per day at the Drozana Station for free. So, I would say go out there, get those boxes. I know for my tanks especially, I'm going to push hard for you guys to get that Kobali Samsar if you haven't done it, just because of how powerful the console and the warp core actually is, especially when you're using the full 4-piece Kobali. That's been pretty much my bread and butter set for a couple of years now, and definitely something I'm going to recommend. But one other thing I will mention, then I'll open it up for our panel for some stuff that they like. The things that you get, such as the prize tokens themselves, are actually account bound. They are account wide and everything, so that is something to keep in mind. Now, once you trade in the token for, say, the Kobali Samsar, you have to use the ship on that tune. Now, if, say, hypothetically, you get an epic token, but you've really got everything from that tier, so maybe you've been eyeing that Jem'Hadar attack ship, or maybe you want to get one of the Rycian cruisers that you missed, well, you can actually trade that token in for 2 tokens of the next rarity down. So 1 epic would be 2 ultras, an ultra would be 2 fairies, and so on. But, anyways, what's some of the stuff you guys have got out of it and everything?
Phoenix upgrades. But I've only gotten the free ones, so I've only used the free ones. I don't spend dilithium on it. Not because I think it's a bad thing. It is a good box. It does have a lot of good things, just because I have my dilithium earmarked for other things already, and so I can't afford to. But I go and I get my free one diligently every day, and so far I've only gotten Phoenix boxes, because the only thing other than Phoenix boxes I would get, personally, and this is just for me, would be the Kabali. I pretty much have everything else that I want.
And what about you, Neela?
But yeah.
I basically grabbed everything under uncommon, made sure all my tunes had Hakeev and Mariah Mara duty officer. And that's about it. I'm trying to work on getting all my tunes have a red matter, and all my tunes have a attack ship.
Yes. Now, one thing I would say, guys, as well, like I say, there are a few certain items that we are strongly going to recommend you go for, especially red matter capacitor. That is a very, very powerful device to have. Gives power to all of your subsystems, and it is reusable. So that is the big thing to keep in mind. But, like I said, there's a lot of good ships in there to pick from. Some of the ones that have been out of the game for a while, very powerful ships, and some of the ones that were just fun to fly, even. Especially that Zephyr Cochrane shotgun versus Borg. That's just nasty. No.
It is.
I will say
hello to my little friend.
Oh, yes. One thing about the Zephyr Cochrane shotgun that a lot of people liked about it is, if you've ever used a pulse wave weapon, this is essentially a pulse wave version of a TR sniper in a nutshell. It will bypass shields, so please keep that in mind as well. But, like I say,
which
talking about the Zephyr Cochrane,
the shield
will bypass the shields.
Bypass also makes it excellent against the Alachi.
And Alachi as well. I'd actually forgot about those guys. So yeah, pretty much anything shielded that you want to get through their shields, grab that thing, because you're going to have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
But, like I say, one other thing is, well, guys, if for whatever reason you have Phoenix boxes left over that you've not opened, once the promotion ends, those boxes will not be taken away from you. You'll still be able to open the boxes. If you have leftover prize tokens that you have from the boxes...
Stardanza joined the server.
And let me turn off those phonetics. Thankfully, it was somebody with a relatively harmless one. Yeah, so a little bit of an inside thing. We use funny phonetics on this server just because reasons. And I kind of forgot to turn them off. Thankfully, that was one of the harmless phonetics. Yeah. I mean, let's just say, I could tell you what some of the phonetics are, but they are definitely NSFW. So...
Yeah, you'd have to...
Times 2.
Yeah.
Not times 1. Times 1. Times 2.
So yeah, that's on me. But, all joking aside and everything, definitely go out there and get your Phoenix packs and everything. And to kind of touch on one thing Kirby said with the tech upgrades, I prefer, for me personally, to think of the tech upgrades as prepaid, in a way, so to speak. The tech upgrades, yes, require dilithium in order to get them, but once you pay the dilithium up front, you can put them on anything that you want. So, it's essentially you're paying more ahead of time to be able to stick it on whatever. But... I say, definitely check that out. Console players, you guys aren't going to have access to this yet. I'm not really sure what else they're going to do for you guys yet, but if they do something like this for y'all, we will be sure to let you know. I promise you that. But, moving on to our next big thing, we have the Echoes of Light Week 3 rewards for our console players. Now, this was the mission that gave you access to the Nausicaan Disruptor set. You had the beam and the console, and also the torpedo that you could use. Now, like I say, I just use the console and the beam on my main ship, which was the Keldon that I showed you guys a couple of weeks back. Now, while this episode is going on, you will have access to the weekly reward box. You will either have a choice of an enhanced universal tech upgrade or a captain specialization point, whichever one you want. That is bound to account, so you can move it to whatever character you need through your account bank and everything. You just have to be the appropriate level to use it in order to actually crack it open. But, very fun little mission, I thought. The puzzle annoyed me until I figured out the pattern, I will admit. But,
Really? Annoyed you?
Well, it was more so the fact...
Remember...
Oh, go ahead.
The thing to remember about the puzzle, if you missed it, is there is a little button to replay it in your low priority interactions. So you can replay it as often as you like. Pay attention to the little guy going to each of the pillars, not as one of our friends did, standing in front of all the guys bowing and go, yes! Bow to insert character's name here.
I can see people doing it.
I get the feeling I have ideas as to who that is, but anyway. Well, there's actually a few I could think of, but yeah.
I won't say his name, but if he is listening, he can feel free to speak up in the chat.
Yeah. But,
or for the puzzle, pull a me and turn around and get a drink and then come back and be like, I don't need to see nothing.
Wait, where'd they go?
No.
What is it?
I seriously figured it out by myself without even seeing it.
Okay.
I was like, oh, it's this, and this. Boom, done. Granted, that's just how my brain works.
Yep.
I'll admit it took me about 30 minutes the first time. Whatnot. Mainly because it didn't click into my brain, okay, there's a pattern to this. I thought I could just, go up, align the things, be done with it. So, yeah, that's, I'll give them credit for that one. That definitely was something I wasn't expecting. But, moving along to our next big thing, we have a 20% duty officer sale going on. This is for the PC players. This started on Thursday and will end on the 6th, which is this Monday. For certain duty officer packs, you get a 20% off deal. So that is one thing to keep in mind and to check out. And I believe, I don't think that it does, but did it apply to... Okay, it does apply to, if I could find it. Okay, so it applies to the Delta packs, the Federation, and KDF packs. I was hoping it would have applied to the DOF roster size, but sadly it doesn't. That's the one thing I was checking. But anyway, that's our duty officer sale. Moving on to our next big thing, we actually have, I believe I pulled that up twice, and I did. Now, this was actually a thing done by Zeph Films. He was approached by a father who had a question from his daughter if she could, or he could feature a ship for everything.
So,
but I'll let Kirby explain it a little better.
Yeah. So apparently it was a little girl in Germany who happens to be a huge fan of Zeph Films. So STO, it says here, reached out to Zeph and let him know about this 4-year-old fan on the other side of the pond, as it says, and asked if it would be possible to add a little surprise for her in his next STO Starship trailer. So they thought he might put her name in the credits or something. Well, the surprise Zeph Films prepared got just a little bit bigger than they first planned. And so what he did was he made a trailer of her favorite STO Starship. And so he calls it Fresh Out of Space Stock Bridget Class Fan Edition. And it is just for her. Her name is Samantha. And we hope the entire community enjoys the video.
Absolutely. Everything. And I gotta give Zeph props for that. That is a pretty cool thing that he did and whatnot. Everything. And he does do good work with his trailers. He does very good work with them, I gotta admit that. But
an expert with demo record.
Yes, absolutely.
He really knows his stuff.
But definitely big props to Zeph for actually doing something like that, and also to STO itself for actually being willing to feature it on their page and on the launcher as well. So very cool stuff out there from that. But moving along to our next big thing, we actually have our budget build for this week, and this actually comes at a request from a viewer who wanted to see a T5U Scimitar build. Now, this one is actually a first for myself and Kirby. We kind of collaborated on this a little bit and everything. Now, we did do a bare bones budget build because he didn't really specify a budget and everything, and usually in situations like that, when a budget isn't specified, we just assume bare bones to be on the safe side. But now for our bare bones budgets, we assume a maximum EC spending limit of 2 million EC, and everything else has to be free or as dirt cheap as absolutely possible. Now, for this budget, the first time for us in doing this, we actually did not use any of the 2 million EC at all in doing this. So everything you're going to see here is something that you can obtain for free or from very cheap using dilithium and fleet credits from your fleet. But we have the T5U Scimitar. This is the tactical variation. So go ahead, Kirby.
Yes, I was going to say it was not easy either.
Yeah, we
had to go through like every episode and check for some consoles. And yeah, it was not easy.
Yeah, checked for consoles. We even hit up some other groups of ours that we hang out with. It's like, hey, where do you get this? Where do you get that? You know where we can get this? And just, yeah. I'm glad we got it done. It was a headache, but I'm glad we got it done so we can actually say that we did it. Everything, but anyways, getting into the gear and everything, we decided to go with phasers for our guy out there. He wanted to do DPS and everything. He didn't really tell us an energy type. He just said he wanted to have a more damage focused. Since you can guarantee the phasers a lot better as far as the mods that they'll have from the Everything Old is New mission, where you can get either crit D2s or DMG 2s, we decided to hook him up with a phaser build. Now, we did utilize 7 of the Everything Old is New weapons, which these are the DMG × 2 phasers. Now, we also did utilize the Quantum Phase set in this case, or at least 2 pieces of it. We have the Quantum Phase beam array, and also the Quantum Phase converter as an engineering console. Now, the console itself, why we wanted to use that is it essentially functions as a 5th tactical console in this case. And it is universal, it does phaser damage, so that is a big reason why we wanted to utilize that. Now for the shields, the engines, the deflector, and warp core, for our warp core we used a favorite of ours here on the show, which is the Temporal Phase Overcharged Singularity Core. It is really one of the best warp cores you can get for free, in all honesty, because of the capacitor that it has with it. Now the capacitor on the core, if you were here for the original Delta recruitment event, you're probably familiar with something called the Temporal Negotiator. So that is one big thing that you had. It would cut the cooldown of the bridge officers in half while it was active. You essentially get that in the form of a warp core capacitor with the Temporal Phase core. And that is from the Butterfly mission. Now we did utilize the Quantum Phase set this go around for shields and engines. And this is from the, I believe the Sunrise mission is where we got this. But we wanted to utilize this because it gives a pretty good attack with it, as well as offering a bit of drain as well. So that's our shields, our engines. For devices and everything, I slotted a subspace field modulator because this is a free device you can get from the Skirmish mission. And I did slot a red matter capacitor, mainly because the Phoenix box is around right now. Maybe he'll get lucky and he'll pick one up and everything without costing any EC from the Phoenix packs. Now, for our engineering consoles, this is where we had to get kind of creative without touching the EC. Now, we did utilize a standard RCS accelerator. This comes from one of the early missions as a Romulan. I've got that in the notes for the build, so you can check that out. Then we also have a enhanced neutronium alloy armor. This is something we don't ordinarily use, but in this case, to avoid spending any of the EC, we decided to slot one on the ship. So this one is one of the ones from the Fleet Dilithium mine. This is the Mark 10, which is the cheapest one you can get. It starts off at 12,500 fleet credits and only 2,500 dilithium, so a very, very cheap console. And it has a pretty decent amount of resistances. It's 18.8 kinetic and all energy damage resist, as well as 18.8 power transfer, which is still pretty decent to have. For science consoles, we went with 3 of the plasma generating nullifiers from the Embassy. I decided to go with EPG in this case, just as something to have, everything. Then for the tactical consoles, we actually picked up 5 of the phaser relays from the Of Signs Importance mission. So with the new mission, we have a cheap way to get great phaser consoles for actually nothing. Now, the hangar, I did specify a hangar pet this time. It's not something I ordinarily do with ships like this, and I don't think Kirby does it too often either, is we actually specified a Romulan drone ship, just because of how superior they are to any of the other fighters that you can get. Now, these and everything and whatnot, you can usually get them pretty cheap. I think sometimes you can even get them... I wanted to think that you could get a ship that came with them. Probably not. I may be thinking of something else. But, anyways, as far as the hangar goes...
I don't remember.
Yeah, as far as the hangar goes,
Good.
That's what you're going to want to pick up, is the drone ships. But moving along to our next bit of stuff, we actually have the skills. Now, this is actually a first for me, is we actually hooked him up with a Science Ultimate build. Not something I ordinarily do, but we decided to change it up a little bit this go around, and we utilized 25 points in science, so we didn't pick up the full thing, but we did pick up the probability window for the Science Ultimate modifier. But anyways, you can kind of see how we have the lieutenant skill set up, everything, then the lieutenant commander. Also have our commander rank skills and our captain rank skills, and then finally the admiral rank. Now you can see we picked up... Oh, go ahead.
Good. Well, I was going to say, notice in the engineering we did pick up a few things we normally don't. So we did pick up at the lieutenant commander level the impulse expertise, because the scimitar flies like brick. So you want to give it a little bit of extra. Yep. So you want to give it a little extra speed there. And then the big thing with Romulans is power. Power on a Romulan, quite frankly, sucks. So we did spend some points in the power to give him some extra power, and then to increase power to the subsystems where he has less power there. So you notice in the Admiral we put in warp core potential and warp core efficiency. So we did make sure of that. And in the TAC we made sure we gave him everything he's going to need for DPS.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
We wanted him to be able to deal a good bit of damage with this, as well as address some of the issues for that particular ship that normally crop up, especially the turn rate. You know, although I don't typically use them, I have flown the scimitars. They do fly like a brick. The only thing that I would say is worse than them is probably the Dideridex at this point.
Oh, God.
But that's what we have for our space skills. I fly the thing, and it flies like a brick. I'll admit it. But
it flies like a brick, but I can make that thing work.
I didn't say I couldn't make it work, but yeah. You can definitely make it work. That's a thing. Now, for the specializations, these are just two of the ones that I picked up. I figured Temporal Operative to go with some of the science-based abilities from the Science Ultimate. I figured Strategist for some of the DPS boosts it can give when you're not in threatening stance. Everything.
Yes.
But as far as that stuff goes, that's what we have for our skills and our equipment and everything. Now we get into the bridge officer powers. This is where the ship gets a bit interesting and can actually shine. Now, the scimitar itself actually features a Lieutenant Commander Universal and an Ensign Universal, which at the time was pretty much unheard of whenever this ship was originally released. So, for our Commander Tactical, we decided to go with a Tactical Team 1. This has the benefit of purging tactical debuffs as well as distributing the shields automatically. Then we have an Attack Pattern Beta 1, a Fall 3, and an Omega 3 for our first set of tactical abilities. Now for the Lieutenant Commander Universal, we decided to go with a second tactical officer. We doubled up on our Beta attack pattern, our Fall 3, and our TAC team. Now, this was actually a trick that Kirby was telling me about that people used to use in the days before they had a ZMOC, which allows people to actually guarantee that they're going to have some type of attack pattern up whenever they need it. So
right, so because of the cooldowns and whatnot, this having the 3 attack patterns ensures that you're going to be able to pretty much match up your very, very closely match up your attack patterns with your beam fire at will by having that, because the Omega has a really long cooldown, but whenever it activates, it triggers the lower cooldown mode of the 2 attack pattern betas. And then the betas in turn, so it basically throws everything into a nice cycle, and you're pretty much always going to have an attack pattern up when you need. So it's an old trick.
Yes, and as far as...
It's an old trick, sir. But it checks out.
I see what he did there. Now, for our engineering abilities, we doubled up on copies of emergency powered weapons. This pretty much guarantees a constant uptime with very little downtime at all. And then we went with an Engineering Team 2. This allows to purge engineering debuffs as well as gets back a little bit of hull whenever it's needed. For our science abilities, we have a Lieutenant Science Station that we slotted a Hazard Emitters 1, purges hazard debuffs, gives a heal over time. Then we have a Science Team, which gives a little bit of shield restoration. And also, in addition to that, will purge science debuffs such as that pesky neutronic effect. I'm brain fart.
Yes.
The neutronic carrier wave and...
Or if you're
ahead.
in the breach and have that lovely little effect go on you that slows you down and hardly lets you move when you shoot the fake warp core or the fake core, the science team will cleanse that.
Yes, definitely quite a bit of uses. And everything. Like I say, we wanted him to be able to have DPS while also retaining a bit of survivability as well, because we didn't really want him to be a glass cannon. But next thing we have is actually his traits. Now, for what we did for the traits, I had slotted a Beam Barrage. This comes from the Beam R&D School. You'll get that by reaching level 15. Now, I justify these traits by the fact that you're probably going to level 1, maybe 2 of the R&D schools up at the advice of somebody. So we assume in this case that he chose to level the Beam R&D school. Then we have Beam Training for free beam damage. Then we have the Fleet Coordinator, which is free damage based on the size of the party that you have with you. We have Romulan Operative, because free damage and everything, which is good. Then we have Innocuous, to decrease his threat while increasing his crit severity. Then we also have the Operative ability for free crit chance and free severity. We have the Point Blank Shot, which is a free trait from the House Peg mission. We have Last Ditch Effort, which is the tactical career trait. So if you're an engineer or if you're a science officer... go ahead.
I thought that was Crippling Fire. Did you stick the wrong one in?
No.
Oh, I must be remembering wrong then.
It was originally something else, but I realized the brain fart and stuck it in.
Okay.
But yeah, so...
I must be brain farting then. The Tribbles have got me!
But, anyways, folks, as far as the career-specific trait, if you're an engineering captain or a science captain and you want to borrow this build, then you just simply swap in your career-specific trait. And for the final trait, we have Nanite Repair Matrix. This comes from the Midnight mission and gives a little bit of survival to the ship as well. Now for our Starship traits, we have the Improved Brace for Impact, everything, and I believe I may have... Actually, yeah, I did. I think I queued the wrong trait. Like a dumby. Let me make sure. Yes, I actually did.
Improved Brace for Impact.
I queued the wrong trait. The
Where?
one that I was supposed to have had was Unconventional Tactics. That's what confused me, is it's the same thing for the icon. So what was supposed to be here was the Unconventional Tactics. When he activates Brace for Impact, he'll get a damage increase for a short duration. So that is a very nice thing to have, despite my brain farting and all of that. The next big thing we have is improved nonlinear progression. This assumes that he's maxed out the temporal operative tree, and which he will eventually have the ability to do. Then we have the best defense trait. This is a free Starship trait that comes from the House Peg mission. and your attack patterns grant you a hull healing buff along with normal effects. Since it's pretty much guaranteed he's going to have his attack patterns up quite a long time, he's going to get a lot of mileage out of that particular trait. Now, as far as space reps go, I used the advanced targeting systems for free severity. We also used the precision for free critical hit chance, the aux power offensive, and then for just a hair more of survival, we used energy refrequencer, where directed energy attacks heal you for a portion of the damage you deal. Now, for the active reputations, we went with the anti-time singularity, the biomolecular shield generator, and also the quantum singularity manipulation. Then finally, the deploy sensor interference platform. This is one little thing I threw in there to be sort of an oh crap, I'm gonna die button, and maybe pull the enemies off of him just long enough to get a heal off or something. Now, the combination, me and Kirby, we mention this anytime we do a build that involves these abilities, but because of how potent it is, we always like to use the quantum singularity manipulation first to boost our science stats, then fire off the anti-time singularity right after that, because that'll allow your anti-time to do a lot more damage than it otherwise normally would.
Yep.
But aside from my screw up there, that's pretty much the budget build in a nutshell. Everything should do pretty well for the guy that asked for it. Everything, allow him to upgrade the ship as he goes and get more and more powerful consoles and traits. But any final comments, anybody on this?
I like it. I have to build it, I should. It's a very solid build. It's not flashy, it's not new. It is a bit more towards the old school kind of build, but it does have a very solid base. So you can then trade things out as you get more EC, etc., etc. But yeah.
Any comments, Neela?
No, not really. I'm liking everything I saw on there.
Alrighty, but anyways, moving on to our next segment, we actually have the Buggy Corner. Got a few little interesting things for you guys this week. Not too terribly much, but one of the things is I see there's a lot of activity, a lot of people still saying they're having issues with their separation pets. I know that some people were saying they've had issues. There was actually somebody that came to me in game the other day saying they're still having issues. So at this point, I would honestly consider it up in the air for some people. So if you are seeing issues where you'll launch a separation pet, such as the Aero Shuttle or the Galaxy class saucer separation, like I say, please speak up, let them know, let one of the bug hunters know, let any of us know in the bugs section that this is still an issue that you're seeing, so we can try to put this one to bed finally. But the next big one that we have is, this is one that I'm actually curious as to what people are seeing on this. There's one or two people I'm seeing that are reporting that they're actually missing Admiralty ships in this case. They said they've reclaimed the ship, everything, and it does nothing. The event store reclaim doesn't do anything. So, if you think you're missing Admiralty cards, please let us know, speak up, let the devs know, let somebody know what's going on, and say, you know, hey, I think I'm missing this, this, and this card, I've got this, this, and this ship that should give me one, but it's not there, and hopefully they should be able to help you resolve that. And then, the final bug I have this week, this is one that actually... a few people told me about this. There was TeacherKirby told me about this, and Odin Knight actually tagged me in one of the groups that he and I are a part of as well, and let me know about this one. This is actually, if you use the show mem _1 command, and you enter that into your game, you will immediately crash back to your desktop without it actually doing what it is supposed to do. Now, there are a couple of workarounds for that in the meantime that can be used until they're able to fix that, but that is a very big issue, so if you are seeing this one, please let them know. I did put in a report on it myself, but all the same, just kind of say, you know, hey, I'm seeing this issue. And finally, a big thing regarding bugs that I know a lot of people have complained about, myself included, and I'm actually going to move this into view so people can see it, because I didn't believe it myself, is for my console players out there. You guys actually have your own separate forums now to go to report issues. There's the Xbox One forum, the PS4 forum. So definitely some big news there in the bug reporting front. But like I say, just go in there, let them know, say, you know, hey, this is the bug I'm saying, or the bug I'm seeing. This is what it's doing whenever I see it. And everything. If you can get a video of the bug, if you can get some photos, anything like that, that's a lot better. That way we can actually see, kind of step by step, what's going on and reproduce it for the devs. But anyways, I will load that in with our other tabs here, so you can kind of see that. But as far as actual bugs though go, that's pretty much all I have this week, as far as the more interesting ones and everything. But anyways, is your video ready by chance, Kirby?
Not quite. It still has 5 minutes, but I did have one thing that a viewer asked me. I needed to clarify one thing.
Okay.
So, basically, his question says, do console players have Tribble and holodeck server, or even tester packs? So,
Nope.
I was able to answer the part about holodeck, tell the server and other things like Android. So the big question for me is there a testing server for consoles? And I think the answer is no, but
Nope, there's not.
that's what I thought. Yeah. So, there you go. No, consoles do not have a testing server. You have to live with what PC says on the testing server. Ha ha ha, we're the only ones that get to test.
Or just make an account and do nothing but Tribble.
There you go. But see, you'd have to get a PC and download it on PC, and you know.
Most console people have a PC. They just prefer to play a console.
Yeah. This is true. But anyway.
Like most people I've talked to that play on console, they're like, we have a PC, but our hands are faster and stuff with a controller than
With the
a keyboard.
console. That's interesting because STO does have controller support on PC. But we're getting sidetracked. But yeah, so my viewer wanted to know if there was a testing server and if there was a way to use the tester packs on that testing server for consoles. So the answer is no. Okay. Which is pretty much what I thought. Alright, so now unfortunately, boy, those Tribbles were attacking everywhere today. Because I brain farted and didn't upload my video on time. But it is currently uploading, and probably by the time we're done, it'll be uploaded. It'll be where it's processing. But, so today's Teacher's Corner is Introduction to the Crafting System. I've actually gotten quite a bit of feedback on this that it's, or quite a bit of, it's come up that the crafting system is quite confusing to some people. So I basically did a little introduction, you know, talked about the different schools, the best way to level them up, what you can get out of them once you get to the top, and all that kind of stuff. So if you have been confused by the crafting system in STO, this may be the video for you.
Yeah, we'll definitely have this in the notes for you guys, everything. So definitely check that out because Teacher does a pretty good job of explaining things.
Yes, the link will be there. The link is there, I promise you. The video will be there. It says 2 more minutes to upload. But yeah, the video will be there, I promise. So yeah, brain farting Tribbles got everybody today.
Yep.
Boy, you let those things out, they just breed like rabbits. Or
Well,
like
there's-
Tribbles.
There's a reason that Federation law requires them to be neutered.
Yes, yes there is.
Well, good thing I'm not Federation.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yep. But
Yeah,
Well, I'm not on a Fed character today either.
I have a whole spot on my card feed, on one of my card feeds for nothing but Tribbles.
he
And
told
then
me
I
he would.
And then I release them on the unsuspecting galaxy.
Of course he would.
That's Neela
It's like,
for
oh.
you.
I fly next to Earth,
Yep.
beam down a bunch of Tribbles right into Starfleet headquarters, and then get the fuck out of Dodge.
But yeah. Anyways, folks, like I say, that's pretty much our show for this week and everything. Hope you guys enjoyed everything, found the information of use, and whatnot. But like I say, we'll have all this in the notes for you guys. You can check it out and everything. Check out Teacher's video and everything that didn't get uploaded in time. But anyways, folks, for now, this is our show this week, and this is Pilot Review. Signing off.
We always forget one thing.
And that
Don't
is?
forget, that is the GoFundMe.
Ah, yes. So,
Don't forget. Good.
one final brain fart, and then we'll officially be signing off. But if you'd like to see Pilot Review head out to Las Vegas again this year, get some interviews for you guys, sit-downs with the devs and everything, we do have a GoFundMe that you can check out if you'd like to help support us. It is greatly appreciated. Everything, any little bit of money helps. This covers some of the expenses for us to cover the electricity, the internet, and everything, as well as actually getting our tables and booths and everything that we'll need. But we'll have that in the video description as well for you guys. You can check it out. Any little bit of money helps. You don't have to donate. If you can't donate but you'd like to help us out, spread the word a little bit for us and everything. And like we say, anything is greatly appreciated, even if it's just mentioning somewhere. But yeah, that's pretty much our GoFundMe. But
Yes.
but anyways,
Yes,
folks,
every little bit counts.
absolutely. But anyways, folks, that's our show for this week. Officially now, finally, after that bit of a brain fart. But anyways, folks, for now, this is Captain Blade and the Pilot Review Show, and we're signing off.
Alonzi.
Later, Gator.